So everyone, welcome back to the Bodybuilding Prospects with George and myself. We have two guests from the Physique Collective, their resident posing coaches, which is Pearce and Ryan Brambleby, classic physique competitors and posing coaches for Physique Collective, and obviously posing coaches themselves. They're on stage to talk all things bodybuilding, posing, passion for bodybuilding. Another great thing that we all have in common is we've all worked in a trade as well and gone into bodybuilding, which is something we can go into because some guys can relate to that, whereas other people haven't experienced having to work in a trade and go into this sort of lifestyle. So that I think I'll be great to go into. But yeah, guys, welcome in, and obviously let's chat some breeze.
Yeah, tell us a bit about yourselves. Obviously, one at a time.
Off you go, Leon.
Me first, yeah. Jeez. Well, obviously, Leon Jake Pearce, as you just said, I'm a classic physique competitor and obviously a physique coach and an online posing coach as well. I've only been competing for a year. So I had my first season recently and did a bit of a cleanup, which was fucking handy, I suppose. But yeah, other than that, just obviously working towards trying to get a pro card, get a pro worthy physique. And that's the main goal in my life at the minute. That's about all I need to say.
Ryan?
Beautiful. I'm a lot older than I look. I'm nearly 28 and I've been around the block since I was about 20 on stage. So although that I'm not fucking huge, I've got a lot of stage experience and like prepping myself and some guys to the stage. Always like posing was my kind of thing, being able to articulate your physique on stage and show it as best you can. And just went into classic bodybuilding, just in love with like the 80s style, the 80s look kind of thing, more streamlined physique, and just enjoy teaching people and giving people that and letting them take that on stage.
Yeah, that's one thing I think we go into straight away is, what are your guys' favourite physiques? Like you just mentioned, you like 80s style bodybuilding. So obviously, what sort of physique stand out individual-wise do you like? Like, who did you like from that sort of era? And obviously, we're going to Leon to see who he loves.
Mohammed McAway.
Yeah.
It's got to be.
Yeah, definitely. I like guys that look insane when they're not posing, when they're just stood there or in a candid shot or anything. I think that's how it should look, like the true Greek statue look, where they're not hitting a front double. My favorite is probably Bob Paris, but if you look at him in his mandatories, he doesn't look like shit. But he looks pretty shit compared to everyone else in the mandatories. But he just looks so crazy on whatever he wants to hit and whenever he's moving around. I just like that like effortless look, and I think that like transcribes to some of my posing style.
What are you, Leon?
I'm very similar to Ryan in that kind of thing. I think we both like the same old school look, the golden era. Obviously, the whole thing that we both promote, as well as obviously Sammy and John, is hashtag make posing great again. And obviously by great again, we mean by these old guys. Like one that I mentioned, Mohammed McAway, he's probably my all-time favorite. And I base a lot of my posing on his, like primarily like my hand movements as well in between posing, and really like strong hands.
I know you love this one.
That's Ryan's signature one.
Go.
I'll
just leave, shall I?
I only saw him do it. I'm sorry.
So yeah,
that one came from the OG.
I was just saying, me and you was talking the other day, Leon, about the two different styles of posing that you two both have.
Yes.
And it's quite, when you actually start, people from the outside probably wouldn't pick up on it. They just see classic guys posing and think everyone poses in a similar fashion. It's all like a bit prancy. But when you actually break down Rye's style and compare it to yours, I think it's a difference in it's them final positions of the poses. It's how you get into that final step and show off the actual pose itself that differentiates it. Like Ryan's a bit more slower, more graceful, and Leon likes like the powerful, I don't want to say robotic, but into that like powerful click motions.
Like the snap.
The snap, yeah. I guess you could say like the power snap, if you would. A bit of Thanos' finger going on.
Like grace and power, as Leela Brada says. You come in slow and then snap in fast.
That's what I thought there would be, like a difference of influence on poses over the eras that would have changed how you two both kind of moved into them two different styles. I thought it might have been like...
I think it definitely, that's the point where it shows people's personality on stage, in like not just the pose they hit, but like their body language on how they'll transition into everything and just how they carry themselves. Like, albeit like, to judge me, if me and Leon were say our physiques were like pretty like exactly the same, it would just be chalk and cheese on how different you carry yourself on stage, like how much a judge would prefer somebody else.
I mean, me and Al got the pleasure of sitting and watching you two pose together and do that insane that double routine at Battle of Bedford, wasn't it?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Just so long ago that does.
The bloat routine.
Yeah, man. I was like on stage at like 2:10.
I've done you dirty though, to be fair. I had a mini cut time perfect.
Yeah, he didn't tell me. He was like, "Oh yeah, I've been mini cutting for 2 weeks." I was like,
I poured off some fluid in and looked about 10 weeks out. I was like, sweet.
That was class. That was, man. So what we look at bodybuilders, people, everyone in the industry that gets into it. There's so many different people, but there's only a select few that get into posing, right? And what I wanted to ask and kind of dive into for the listeners was, what was it about posing that kind of attracted you to it? Was there maybe something from before bodybuilding? Was there something you did when you was younger that kind of like just naturally gravitated you to when you started bodybuilding, going, oh yeah, no, I like that. That's a bit of me. I've done it before. I've been there.
I know Leon's going to say Leon did dance when he was younger, but mine, I never even played sport as a kid. I did I did martial arts, and I think the way I move, like with my footwork and slide around and stuff like that, does transfer to transfer. That's not a fucking word. Does transfer from like karate and the kata and stuff like that, like the smooth movements through the motions. But other than that, like I think it was just like I was more artistic as a kid rather than like did any sport whatsoever. So I think that's probably where it came from.
Oh man, you gotta have a crack in you. You gotta have a crack.
Keep that one quiet.
You're gonna get them cancelled, man. It's our first time on the fucking show.
That's all right. We've spoke about some awful things on here.
I could imagine you boys dirty pigs.
Transparency.
100%.
So Leo, was it dancing for you that kind of?
Yeah, so I've got obviously like similar to like martial arts as well. So obviously, first off, I started out break dancing in school. That's always what I used to do. So I used to go to a school of dance when I was a bit younger, and then I also took it as a subject in school. But what I didn't realize when I took it in school, I wouldn't just be able to break dance. There was like 3 of us boys in a room full of like all girls, and we obviously had to cover like ballet, contemporary, and the full works, you know. So I got to experience that sort of really helping with the footwork and stuff, to be fair, like in transitions. And like I think if you sort of compare certain kinds of like ballet positioning with leg work, it does sort of tie in with some poses. Obviously, but then you get people that come from a dancing background and then they transfer into bodybuilding and then they make it a little bit too much dance, if you know what I mean.
There's one guy who stood out. His name's Triple J Styles, I think. I'm sure you come.
Yeah. He That's a great example.
Body popping, and it's a lot. Don't get me wrong, it's impressive, but it's a lot to look at, you know. And it's
I know exactly what you're saying.
Yeah, you know what I mean. It's almost too much, but it is impressive. You can't take that away.
Yeah, that shows his personality and his unique posing. Because he's like, have you met him? Have you spoke to him?
I've seen him like at Crayford. I've never like spoke to him. I've seen him, like, obviously followed him over the years.
Mate, he's a legend. He's so sound. And
great physique as well.
It is crazy, and like whether you think it's classic posing or not, but it literally puts his personality across like bang on how he does stuff.
Yeah.
And going back to like personality with posing, like I think posing in a nutshell, if you've got guys that can pose fairly decent, but they don't have like the whole emotion that goes with it and the expression. Yeah. Like I think for someone like me and Rai, when we pose, it's almost like our expression outlet. Sometimes we'll have like just an urge that we have to film up a routine or let a bit of an expression out. Do you know what I mean? And that's what I think the passion comes across as well.
Yeah.
That's what it is.
That's deep. That is, you know, because there's that.
But that's part of the art, though, isn't it? I think if you really enjoy something so much, that's how it comes out. I mean, everyone has different ways of expressing themselves, don't they?
It's like Footloose vibes, fucking filming yourself dancing in an empty warehouse.
Billy Elliot and that in the building. Come on.
Oh yeah, has anyone seen Billy Elliot? Like a show? Don't tell me I'm alone here. Leon, you must have gone and watched it.
Yeah, I've got to watch it.
Yeah. I was a big fan of that as a kid, watching shows and panto stuff like that.
Nah, man, I was too busy being a bloke.
Yeah, I was too busy getting pissed.
Just us then, mate. Just us. You know what I mean? I was just being a good guy.
We'll go and watch it again together if you want. We'll go.
Can we hold hands?
Go tomorrow. It's Valentine's Day.
We hold hands and skip in like short shorts and vests.
You know,
get the little leotards out.
We'll pull them right up, like under the nipples.
Let's do it. We're both like banging a gram of trem before as well, so we're super horny and we'll just go.
Mate, that's in my head.
Super horny. Fuck you. You'd be sat there crying. You'd be sat there crying and watching it.
Hey,
Exactly. It'd be a bit emotional, wouldn't it? Imagine.
You see Alex just keeps squeezing.
The sweats are bad enough on 100 alone, so.
Oh, telling me.
Yeah.
And them cleanse.
Them cleanse. Oh, that was funny when Kirkham started saying that. Them cleanse, and yeah, that's there now as well. But I think going to next, one thing that obviously we're all similar with us is working in a trade. So you guys going to like where you started and trying to bodybuild whilst obviously, but we all worked on site.
I mean, did we class Leon's job as a trade? Like,
well, he's a dosser.
He used to move handles like digger work. Kate, come on.
Just napped all day. Nothing's changed.
Hey, is it tea time? Is it? I might as well jump out of the cab. It's a bit warm.
I used to lay block paving for 5 years before that. You bastards.
Oh yeah, I block paving as well.
We've touched the nerve now. We've tweaked him.
Oh, me fuck. Yeah. It keeps freezing. Fuck's sake.
I can still hear you when it's frozen.
Yeah. It's quite funny because I block paved as well before I got into the rail industry. So, but yeah, block paving was great, you know, if you can do it. But I had a bad back at 19, so I was like, there's something that's quite right here. You know, there's great money to be earned in all trades, but trying to train, even just trying to deadlift after a full day laying 100 square meters, you know what I mean? It's not going to be, you know, the most fun. And
how did you two
stress more than the physical stress, really?
Pardon?
I find it's like the stress more than like the physical stress of having to go to work and just having to graft your bollocks off. You're not just an engineer or a trader. You've got, even though you're employed or whatever, you're just fucking worrying about everything. You're like always pressure on you to do everything. I find that's the hardest bit about my job. There's like probably 30% of the time it's lugging heavy shit around. It's strenuous, and the rest of the time you're just like racing around like a madhead, just trying to sort everything.
I mean,
I've long days.
So even paving was like, now I'm kind of done with site work, and then onto the railway, and you know, you're digging out sleeper beds, you know, moving rail around, working around machines, walking up and down track all night, lifting up rail, putting up blah blah, grafting your ass off. And I was thinking, right, where can I go in this industry that is the least stress on my body to help out and finding a bodybuilding friendly job? The best thing about it was I could eat when I wanted and no one would bat an eyelid. Maybe one supervisor would be like, what are you doing? I'd be like, I'm eating. And he'd be like, all right then. Like one guy before, we were digging out beds and I just walked off to the van and he was like, where are you going? I was like, I'm going to get my bagel. And he was like, you coming back? I was like, yeah, I'm just going to get my bagel. I was like, I've got another one if you want one. And he's kind of like shut down. Like, people accepted it, which is nice when some people aren't that fortunate when they can't just, you know, move away from their desk or maybe a call center or whatever, you know, and just get their food, which is something is a bit of a luxury, but you just got to choose.
How do you find managing? Because obviously, you prepped whilst working still, Leon, but at the moment, right? How do you find managing prepping clients and managing everything, posing, coaching with your job at the moment?
It's pretty tough. Like it just it means I don't have a day off. I ain't had a day off in fucking Jesus Christ since like September or when over Christmas and stuff.
You know,
mad.
Yeah, but it's like you just have to have a routine to it because. But I can probably blast my check-ins in like 4 hours or stuff like that a day at the weekends, and just get out and get that done and prioritize that. But it's not ideal. Like I was at Holes yesterday and I had to come home because I had a US client like at 1 p.m. today, so it does get in the way of a lot of stuff. But you just gotta get it done until you can make that transition, really, ain't you? Which is obviously what boys are doing.
I mean, that's the fortunate thing. Was when we are still working full time, you know, we choose to sit behind the phone, sit behind the laptop, and when you have someone who's not exactly taking advantage of that time, you know, it's like, mate, I don't need your money. I do have my bread and butter coming in. I choose to do this as extra. Then I want to build something. Honestly,
that's the one thing. Yeah, the work have just got me like a brand new top bollocks fan. Everyone at the firm's creaming over it. Yeah, I'm under so much stress at the minute. I said to my mom the other day, I was like, I could literally be off work sick. I'm that fucking stressed of it all. It's just shite non-stop. Oh, yeah. You know, when you're just waiting, you're like, I don't even need this thing. You're waiting for the most minor inconvenience to be like, yeah, see you later. Chuck the keys on and just
yeah.
Yeah, that's what I did when I quit my job. I literally quit it on prep. It was a prep decision.
Every prep I've done, I've split up with someone and got a new fucking job. Every single prep I've ever done.
Now, when are you prepping next?
No time soon, hopefully.
Yeah.
Put a ring on it before.
I had
Just in case.
Bit soon
I had
for that.
one night. I had one night, right? 12-hour night shifts. Rails laid in pair. It's 709 foot a side. That's a pair. 6 pair, right? So 709 foot times 2 times by 6, right? And it was pissing hard of rain. After rails been on the sleeves for a while, it gets stuck and corroded, and it's just a fucker to work with. And I was like, I think 2 weeks out in 2019, and I was just like, do you know what? I don't want to be here. I just did a 180, mate. Got in my car and left site. I got away with it. I got paid because it's funny enough, a few other blokes said the same thing, and they went home and they got in shit for it, and I just went home and I got away with it and I got paid. So I was like, I just didn't want to be there. You know, I was just like, I'm done with it. I don't need this tonight. Keep your money. I'm cool.
Do you know what's a shame though?
It gets like that sometimes.
I
Yeah,
genuinely
you know, it's
enjoy
like-
being an engineer, but being around like so many coaches, it's not what you want to do forever, is it? But I genuinely do enjoy the technical side of my job, fixing stuff. But it's just not the avenue you want to end up going down, is it? It's not the avenue you want to spend your whole career in.
Yeah, I mean, I always pursued the rail industry, just in case if it was going to be the one forever. You know, like I work for a rail freight company now, so when trains come over imported from like France or come back from London, I have to like get in amongst the train, put it together, brake test it, things like that. It's a lot less labor stress. You know, all you're doing is hooking up the train, which is like maybe you got a tight coupling and things like that. And all it is walking up and down the side of a train. They're sometimes like a mile long, and checking it over, making sure it's safe to go on the line. It's just handy because if I've got a step count to hit, mate, I'd dust off 20,000 steps easy, you know, or 50.
Are you still doing that job now then, full time?
Yeah, still full time, mate. Which there's no shoveling no more. There's no real grafting, you know, you just kind of, and when there's no trains, I can be behind the laptop, you know, and I can be talking to clients, I can be voice noting things like that. So it's worked out okay to do that. Whereas before, you know, I'm leaving, you know, the south to go into London, and then I'm going from there central, site to site to site to site, walking around this, doing this, fixing this, doing that, and then hour and a half drive home, and then I got to go to the gym. It's like it was getting a bit much. Probably the same position that you've been in. You know, you said you haven't had time off, and God knows how long.
I find that like I literally got one session into week 4 last block, and Joe was like, "You're fucked. You're deload now. You're writ off." But what's nice though as well is like we live in an age where you're in touch with your clients all the time on WhatsApp anyway. Yeah. And everything's on Google Sheets. You can get on your phone. I have a work laptop as well. So if something's like really needs to get on the laptop, I was like, I can just log on for 10 minutes and sort someone's stuff out. It's not like, you know what I mean? You're never a million miles away from being able to help a client out.
Yeah.
I see. I never had that luxury. That's why I had to get away from working, grafting, tarmacking. It was like I'm either balls deep with 40, 50, 60 ton of tarmac stuck up my ass. Yeah. Can't really go on my phone. I'm either on the roller or I'm shoveling. And if I did, my old man would have come through with a shovel and be like, bang, get up. So yeah.
I remember calling you like sometimes you'd be like, mate, I'm on the roller, I can't speak. And that'd be it. Like, and I'm like, oh, I've got an hour till my next train. I'm all right, you know. Just give me a bell when you can, you know, but the whole time you got to kind of get amongst it. You deal with it, right?
That's why I got comfy in this chair, mate. I'm telling you now. When I got in this chair, it was comfy.
There's some arse cheek vents in that thing now.
Trust me. Step count went from like 20k to 5.
In chairs. I've sat in chairs for years, just with fucking levers.
Yeah. That's why you
was similar to how I sort of started with, like, as opposed to you, Alex, because I started obviously block paving, and I thought, fuck this, my back's killing me. Like, I've got to lay. Yeah. Some days I would lay 9-10 packs of blocks by myself. And just have 2 lads feeding me blocks. Absolute savage stuff. And obviously try and do whatever you got to do about your life after that. You can't fucking walk. You're like Ronnie Coleman. Do you know what I mean?
I was the guy bumping out.
I was looking at people driving machines on sites and thinking, do you know what? I want to do that. He's not doing fuck all, and he's getting paid triple what I'm getting paid. Yeah. So that's what I did. I sat my course. I did that. Sat in there, and then I thought, do you know what? Where's the next place I can go and do even less work?
Yeah,
and that's it. I'm gone.
Yeah,
straight in prep on summer. Literally, I remember getting the Physique Collective sponsorship and the load up sponsorship. I thought, you know what? I've made it now. I'm basically famous. I'm going for it. I've got home, realised, oh fuck! I've just quit a job and now I've got no fucking money coming in. What am I going to do?
I hear you.
So I did it like the opposite way you should ever quit your job. But
it looks like it's paying off for you now though, because you just look busier than ever. To be fair.
But we always had like Isla's wage to fall back on. I had a bit of savings from myself over the years. So we had enough to get me through the rest of my prep, the FitX prep, and then see if I could build up a decent amount of clientele
Yeah.
and then be able to live off a little bit and just progressively get better because we always have money to back it up. So it just gave me
That's
the
the thing.
ability to
I never saved as a kid. I never
Mm.
saved. I was like a fucking idiot with saving. So it's only really since I've been at this job since I think it's June, and it's only since I've been there I've had fucking money just piling up in my account.
Yeah, nice.
And then even now, like I wouldn't need much to jump. It's not like exactly a high paid job. It's what someone at 27 should be on, really.
Yeah.
How did you find going in from that to setting up your posing coaching specifically? How did you find like building clientele from that? Because it's quite a niche thing.
So I was coached by Tom Hames, so I used to do a few of his guys anyway.
Okay.
And then Joe, I remember Joe put out a post on Instagram, a story. It was like looking for a posing coach, like for my guys or anything. I messaged him. I was like, I don't know how much experience like you're after or whatever, blah blah blah, but I'm like decent worth of money kind of thing. And he was like, yeah. So he had a session with me. Then he started sending some guys to me, and it was at the point where like most of my clients were coming from Joe. So it was just when Physique Collective started. So I did a thing saying I'll do an offer for like everyone that's like coached by Physique Collective members, and then they rang me and like, oh, we'll take you on. It makes much more sense. And then it's from that, and then it just snowballed. I think my prep, everyone's prep, like as soon as you get lean, people want to know, don't they?
Trust me, yeah.
And then like literally as soon as you have a portfolio and that, like people just come in like quite a lot now. So it just built quite naturally without me having to really promote it. Like I don't really promote that more, only if I've got like, you know, like new prep offers coming out or like I'm doing a seminar or something. I never really post a hell of a lot of what I'm doing, which is one thing I definitely need to get better at.
So Leon, you're down Crayford next weekend, aren't you, for the GPO?
Yes, sir. Teaching the classic.
You just doing the classic one? Because I'm there for the Open with Paul and one day. I'm not sure if you're going to be during that one or not.
I'll be floating around because I'm not sure what the actual timing is, but I'll definitely be there within that time bracket because all I've been told is to get there for 3 o'clock. I did think originally I was supposed to be doing the bodybuilding and the classic, and then I think they changed it around and just said, you know what, we might have a bit too many people, so just deal with classic, obviously, because that's sort of your speciality, I suppose. But I mean, I reckon I can obviously I can teach just as good with bodybuilding and classic. It's not really any different if you look at it. Like I don't feel like it should be a separated like criteria, just down to obviously suiting the federations, isn't it? Sometimes with just the favorite classic pose, and that's it really.
You can't really get them big old GH gut bellies kind of in them more prancy poses, can you?
Yeah, there you go. Literally, you ain't gonna put a vacuum with there. You put your fucking brain through your head.
How did you two find learning other category posing? So I got learning men's. I know you do some men's physique posing as well, Ryan.
I was a bikini boy. That's how. And then I used to, my old training partner Matt Joyce. Matt did men's physique, and we like competed, and I coached him for like a couple of years, like 3 years. So like just by doing that, by seeing him compete, and just taught myself really.
That's why.
It's not really that hard as a posing coach to get it down because you can just pose whatever. I think it's like being able to transfer it to a guy, you know, that isn't used to posing.
Yeah.
You're always used to transferring bodybuilding posing and classic posing. It's teaching like, I don't want to say gen pop, but you know, like people, it might be their first show and they might have never posed, and they might only want to be doing men's physique, and they might not even, you know, be able to connect with a lats or something like a bodybuilder would in a lat spread or something. So it's just trying to teach someone. It's more from the ground up when you're trying to teach someone, I think.
Yeah, I had a question that I just can't myself. You may be able to explain, you may not, but I thought I'd shoot anyway. Say, for example, see, George and I's physiques are completely different in structures and size, and you know,
I'm bigger.
Yeah, fuck yourself. I was wondering, how would you say work with someone like George and someone like me? Like, what would you want to show off more on one physique compared to another? Like, is that a great way to ask it? Like, do you understand what I'm trying to say there?
Yeah, I think it depends. Like, you know, like if someone has a bigger waist than somebody else, or someone has smaller legs than somebody else, or something like that. You just want to manipulate the.
It literally just summarized us. He hit the nail on the head. Someone with bigger waist and someone with smaller legs.
You just want to like manipulate the pose on like, how would you give the guy with the smaller legs the best chance of beating the guy with the bigger waist, kind of thing, you know, like moving their leg positioning around to like tilt their legs outwards to show more like display of the quads and the adductors and stuff like that, and just working out maybe like tilting the hips, or even setting the hips back and displaying the legs in a different way to stretch someone's torso out in their front double. And you always just think, how would they fare in a lineup, because everyone's physique is so different in a lineup.
Well, Leon,
it's very similar to what I would say. Like I say, just be like utilizing poses that suits your structure. That's what I would say to people. Like people often come to me and say, right, I like to hit this pose, or I like to hit that pose, but that doesn't necessarily mean that that pose will suit their physique. A great example of that would be like what I was talking about at Joe's, and I was talking to obviously Matt about it, about vacuums, and just saying like, unless you have a structure, a rib structure that really flows nicely with no like sharp edges to it, I think a vacuum from the front in like an abs and thigh shot, or it just looks fucking beautiful, did it, on some people if you got the right insertions and lats to go with it. But then someone like, I think for myself, that has like this sort of quite narrow rib cage and quite high up, if I put a vacuum, it just looks fucking horrendous. It looks like a triangle. So I think it's knowing when to implement certain poses on your physique. And like, for instance, if it was a case like Ryan said, if your legs are a little bit smaller, just utilizing how to push the knees out and really how to show the VLs, do you know what I mean, to really utilize that leg width. It's something that I also pose like. I always pose quite pushed out to just show the full length of my legs, to be fair.
It's almost like a
example is like mine and Leon's front lat. Like, because Leon's lats are so low compared to mine, he can just sweep round and hit whatever, and it looks great length back, whereas I can't do that. It pays off much better for me to bring the lats around the serratus and then try and make like the delts and the arms look pretty and sat up top, and then maximize like what my legs look like on the bottom and stretch the torso and things like that.
I've got a great example as well for someone as well. Obviously, we covered small legs, but we'll cover the wide waist now and difference on how to tweak a pose. If you look at someone like Andy Scott, who is short, full of fucking muscle, but has quite a wide waist. But look how he poses. He poses like he's in classic physique. The guy poses with angles, offsets.
Very tilted. Yeah.
He's always tilted. Look at his poses. He's never dead on, because why would he go dead on if that's his floor? He's always going to slightly tilt the hip, or he's always going to like hit these nice, like fucking magical poses. He's got one hand here. You know, the one he hits like this?
Yeah.
From the side with like the leg straight. It just, the waist, you wouldn't even know. It looks like a wasp from that side. You know? So it's just knowing how to implement these sort of poses on your physique.
Yeah, I got to watch him at the Arnold's last year in person, and you never do really appreciate how good someone is.
He's so good. He's insane.
I saw his video from like PCA. The first ever shot.
I was at that show, the Saxon show.
Is it where he hit the side chests with the fist like this, the old school style? And I was like, this dude's pretty cool. And
it's his little hand movements as well in between. It's very similar to like, you know how like Jack Kinsey-Clow used to do it.
Yeah.
Josh, Jack,
he's disappeared, isn't he?
Josh Kinsey, yeah. He used to do these like funny fast hand movements. I think sometimes it looks a bit too much.
That was like watching something from the ballet.
What's that?
That was literally like watching something from like Black Swan. That was when he used to fucking pose.
But this is like back to our first sort of questions we was talking about on styles. Like, there's so many different styles, but there's only very few real poses that bring a different style, not just copying someone else's style. Like, I think Rye would have his own specific style with his own set of poses, and myself had my own specific set of poses that obviously I think I've brought to the table, same as Rye. Rye's brought many poses to the scene as well. So I think it's separating yourself and not just going, right, do you know what? I like C-Bum. I'm going to follow and do every pose that C-Bum does.
Sadly, none of us look like C-Bum, so it wouldn't look the same.
You're just a sheep, aren't you? Do you know? Yeah. So, I mean, if you look like C-Bum, it'd be fucking lovely, wouldn't it? But you're not going to.
Yeah, we probably wouldn't be sat on this podcast if you did.
Yeah, you know what I mean?
I'm waiting to see the Kai Green style hit the stage. I want to see some of that up-to-date modern Kai Green posing.
That's Triple J Styles, mate. That's him, mate.
Fucking crazy, man. The shit with the mask and that, man.
That was nuts. He did it so smoothly as well, though, so it's probably like fairly acceptable, because how he moved through the poses was unreal.
And with the head,
like how his like ability to display like every single second of his stage presence was a pose. He didn't ever come out of a pose. It's just like a pose within a pose. Transition, he's showing poses, and I think that's a beauty to look at, even though it's a different kind of style. That to me is like an art as well, you know.
Yeah,
it
was his last Arnold routine. You know, he's like shuffling with his feet on the floor, like, and he's going with the music, like, doing like pop in and all that sort of stuff. And I'm like, you've just got it going.
260.
Nothing ever looks out of place as well. What he hits, and that's the thing for it.
And you guys will see more detail than a normal guy, because obviously, as someone who wants to be an open bodybuilder, I just think I'm just trying to hit a shot that will look good in the shot. You know, obviously when we venture further into posing, it's like in between, obviously you're still being looked at, you're still being judged, you're still being seen. You know, you don't want to be breathing through the gut like a misfit, essentially.
What's your opinion on some of these routines that we see coming out now? Obviously not with your guys' clients and routines, but I've noticed there's a lot of people lagging poses and focusing too much on the artsy pratsy look at what
You're flapping like a cock in the wind.
yeah
That's the one, my G. That is the one.
yeah
We see it very often now, don't we, Brian? All the time. And every time we send it to each other, say, what the fuck is this? But it's like literally, you see it like far too often at some shows. These guys put on a decent track and they just wave around, but they don't actually hit a pose. And it's so fucking annoying to see someone not even hit a pose.
Yeah.
So just take your time, snap the pose in, and then move on to the next one. You don't have to sort of prance around like you're trying to be a cock in the wind, like fucking Ryan said. You know what I mean?
Yeah, like the hand movements and stuff should be like just a breath before you set up as your pose, like just a little linkage in between. It shouldn't ever deter from, like, if you move one step, that should be like one movement of your hands as you go into a pose or something like that. It should never, like, it should just make sense, man. It shouldn't. I always say, like, imagine like someone's granny or someone was watching the show and you don't want them to go, what the fuck's he moving like that for? Well, that's literally just make it make sense, man.
Yeah, I think people are getting too lost in the clout of rough diesels posing and trying to make it look too much of a performance.
Yeah.
And missing the main aspect that we are bodybuilders and we are trying to show off the poses we intend.
Don't get me wrong, it's hard.
People with rough style, like there's a big group of them in America, and a few of them compose really, really well. Like they're called the Coach by Flow.
Yeah, the flow, yeah.
Like a few of them guys and girls compose really well, but then again, like if you look at Jarrett Crew, you look at that Louise, it becomes very dance.
Yeah,
but there's some like
a lot of polishing. Some of it means a lot of polishing. I really like Jared's style.
Yeah,
but if you watch his videos, he nearly knocks himself over every single pose he does.
Yeah, and his mandatories are a little bit off as well. I can't lie. Like I love him as a.
I do really like his poses, but that's a perfect example of like not flapping around going crazy, but if you tone it down, it'll look a lot better. Like, you know, like letting the emotion take over, it will sometimes deter you from what you're trying to show.
Sometimes less is more.
Yeah, simplify it ever so small. Like, do you know what I mean? Just simplify it.
The biggest pain in the ass from watching shows was guys not holding a shot at all. It was just duh. I'm like, mate, are you trying to test the photographer's skills here to time that? You know, you're not going to have that memory of you hitting that shot because you're like.
Oh, let me tell you, there's nothing worse. From my Two Bros show, I have like 3 shots I can fucking use because every other shot is like mid transition or step back.
Yeah, man, that's because the cameraman sat there going like this. Like, trust me, you watch it, man. Sorry, I shouldn't have said that.
Yeah, you ain't blazing at Two Bros now. No way.
Yeah, they don't do that in Two Bros. That's my next show, man. Don't slag them off, man.
Yeah, bro, listen, I love Two Bros. You know, I'm coming to get my pro card, so
you got a Two Bros tattoo.
I will not take a 10x sponsorship. Sorry.
Unfortunately, we can't. So we are all partners.
I absolutely love 10x supplements. I use them all the time.
Oh, you're such a cunt. I fucking love them.
Yeah.
We got friends who are part of 10x. You know, the only thing I saw was that maybe looked a little bit negatively upon it is if you compete with them, you get offered, or if you place in like the top 3, you get offered to become part of it. It's like, how many athletes do you have? You know, that's got to be.
There's a lot.
It's a deep roster. It's got to be. What's next? Questions that you guys got?
I've got a few.
Yeah, I've got a few.
I got from Dean McKillop, big Dean McKillop, who is 5 or 6 weeks out now from the regionals and looks like a pocket-sized fucking Hunter Labrada.
Mate, it's insane, isn't it?
Right. Wacky.
He said, what pose do people fuck up the most, and 3 tips to fix it? Go on, Brian.
A twisting rear double, and they attempt it when they shouldn't. No, actually, Dean. I've seen Dean put that on his story. I don't want him to think I mean him. I just see that a lot. Yeah. What do they fuck up the most?
Mate, that's one of the hardest shots. I cannot get into that shot.
I think a side chest out of the mandatories. Everyone,
I think he's struggling to hit that twisting rear double purely just because he's got too much skeletal muscle around his waist. He cannot fucking get the mobility. I'm sure. Geezer's jacked.
It's still all good though. I think a side chest is like the most butchered mandatory because people just leave gaps. That not only do they leave gaps in like between their arms and their body, they bend their core back, and even if you've got a tiny waist, it just looks like you've got a distended gut. So a tip for me would
that's
be
the worst, isn't it? You see that.
Don't flex the hamstring, just bring your leg in and squash it together so your hamstring looks bigger.
That is a skill to learn.
That's the game check, because once I was able to push the leg against the hamstring, it was trying to line my midsection up to even be able to focus on the upper part, because I'm focusing too much on trying to get that leg position right. And I'd be like tilted like this. And I look at the picture and be like, that doesn't look like it looked in the mirror a minute ago.
It's the tensing it's holding the glute in, tensing the glute, but letting the hamstring hang loose. Trying to learn how to connect that without pinching that hamstring up. That was hard.
And guys are saying about
it like a noodle in a swimming pool, like between your legs, and then just like abduct at the glutes to flex them. So when you do that, you have hip flexion. It's a knock-on effect. So when you have hip flexion, your waist can pull in and like look smaller, your TVA is pulled in, and then the arms can go under the rib cage easier and close the gap. So all three in one.
I'm excited to get some posing in with you guys at some point, because this
told you it's a game changer, man.
Gonna get clued the fuck up. Like,
details.
You'll be like, come in, you fat love.
Many coaches at the minute that are springing through, and these are just guys that have competed themselves and can string a few poses together, but there's no in the real ins and outs and the details, like these specific details that really, really matter. Just moving a foot like an inch this way, or just literally puffing the chest up, pushing glutes back in certain poses. There's so much to it.
I mean, you can tell
the other day about like we live in an era of bodybuilding where everything is measured like crazy, like scientific ways, like the way it's taken over bodybuilding. So why not go with someone that understands a lot about anatomy and how like joint mobility and like movements of everything, and can actually dissect it and down and tell you like the most basic like hip flexion or something like that, or like you like abduct at the hips to flex your glutes rather than flexing through, like pushing, fully shortening the glutes. Just, you know, like little things that can change a pose. That's a cue for like someone, if you have a high level bodybuilder in that can already pose, it's just about making it easier for them and just like fine tuning stuff.
Yeah, I'll 100% recommend. Ryan was the first posing coach I'd ever used, and I took stuff from that FaceTime session that I still use to this day. And I'm very fortunate to have been done a couple of training sessions with Leon, and the few tweaks I've had with him. Yeah, honestly, man, you will not regret it.
Well, I'm sure I'll bump into him on Saturday. So if you do see me lumping around in my pants, feel free to poke me around. So yeah, just
go and take the class over, Leon.
I should do, shouldn't I?
You be like, do you know who I am? Yeah. You know who I am.
The fucking ghost.
You need a shirt with that on, Leon. Do you know who I am?
Just come out of nowhere in this scene and take your first place trophy. That's what they call me, the ghost.
Just come in and just put it on the floor, like.
Unless Golden Era Dan's about.
Oh! Yeah, he's good. He's good, but Rye's going to whip his ass next time. So Rye's got that covered, because he shouldn't even have been in my category. So
I think isn't he doing men's physique now?
Oh, right. I forgot to say to you, bro. Do you know I've been measuring my height wrong the whole time? I thought I was 5'10.5, yeah. So I was thinking, fuck, I can only be 93 kilos on stage. Measure myself. I'm literally just below 6 foot.
It's because you grew your hair.
Fuck off. You got a Spanish tape measure.
Huh?
You got a Spanish tape measure, mate. If you're 6 foot, I'm 5'11", and that ain't never happening.
Trust me, I'm just below 6.
No, I'm nearly 6 foot, I swear.
So this is I was trying to work this out.
Take that measure to the Two Bro show so I can come in at 220.
I mean, we was trying to work this out the other day, Leon, if we'd ever meet on stage, because I'm the 6 foot and over.
He's real 6 foot.
I'm
just below 6 foot, so no, we wouldn't meet.
Except unless we do a 2 rows tall. PCA tall. That'd be the only way.
We can do a PCA tall.
What's the point in that?
Yeah, but we're going for a fucking IFBB, aren't we? So it has to be the 2 bros thing.
Well, one of us is.
Well, there ain't no more.
I've been to PCA. No, it was a great show. I enjoyed the PCA, actually. I think you'll enjoy it.
Everyone says how good PCA is run. You know, I've only ever competed in one federation, so it is always good to hear. When you see the trends of people's feedback, you know, there is always negative feedback from certain people for certain shows, but, you know.
Yeah, there's always going to be.
But it is what it is. Like, someone's tan messing up. Like, we had a guy, you know, he had a tanning problem, and the fucking tanning ladies had gone home, like, early, and he had, like, pee down his leg or something, or water, and he was crying. And I'm like, I felt for him, because I'm like, these girls are still supposed to be here, you know, and I did feel for him, and they ended up getting him sorted. Someone had, like, some Dreamtown or something there. But it was just like, come on, like little things like that. Like this guy prepped possibly for 20, 25 weeks, who knows? And his moment is nearly ruined because someone wasn't there when when they were needed.
Or he prepped for 6 or 8. You never know.
Well, it annoys me when guys can do that. I've never done that.
I reckon I could be leaning 8 weeks.
From now, yeah.
Yeah, the back end of my diet, I think I was like 8 weeks out. Could have done it.
Yeah.
I think this is maybe that's just what Joe says to us all. Because at the back end of my diet, he went, yeah, probably 8 weeks out now.
Yeah. He didn't tell me, but I checked him and I was like, fuck, I'm lean.
To be fair though, like if you see like my ability to strip off fat is nuts. Like I honestly at the minute look about fucking 6 or 7 weeks out. Like if I wanted to push, I've literally got that low body fat.
Yeah, that translates to my ability to slam Clen is good.
Yeah.
Clem.
That should be on a t-shirt.
No cardio, so it's just literally still 3,300 calories. It's just obviously expenditure via training output and just overall steps throughout the day. When for me, that's probably not much. Like,
I was still 450 carb the whole way through it. He changed it once and he just took 20 carbs out one time. That was it.
See, mine's at the minute, I'm dropping about kilo a week and it's 300 carb, 2,500 calories. So I have to go a little bit lower than others purely because I've never pushed food as high as you guys have. And it just is what it is, you know, how to put off body fat. And having no off-plan meal has been the game changer overall with this since the start. George was talking about it before because I had, the mental, I need a fucking pizza. I thought I needed a pizza anyway. And it's like, yeah, but you're going to wake up 0.8 lighter if you don't eat that pizza, we're going to keep rolling. And now I'm, 10 kilos off my heaviest already, and is what it is. Sorry, someone's buzzing the door. Back 2 seconds. It's my girlfriend.
Yeah, like I had no off plan. Have you got no off plan in yours either, Leon?
No, I've not, but I've had one. Can't lie.
Yeah, like
Jake and Sim macros. I had Jake and Sim come down to stay and train with me, so they stayed, and we obviously went out for a meal. But I literally missed 3 of my meals just to compensate.
That's what I did. I had like some family stuff on, so I just missed like 3 meals and make sure I was under calories or something.
See, that's the thing that Joe implemented on me straight from the off was like fat loss phase, don't have an off-plan meal, just crack on. And the food went that high in the off season, I was having to track an off-plan meal to make sure I was hitting my fucking calories so I didn't undereat. After that mental switch happened, I can't look at an off-plan meal without just figuring out the numbers, just so I know that it ain't an off-plan. You just change the food to have something else for the day. Like,
I spent so long in like my growth phase, like I'd switch a meal for an off-plan meal and just wake up lighter.
Yeah,
it wouldn't hit. Like then you work out you do have to sort of like overcompensate. If you're going to go for an off-planner, you have to go for an off-planner.
Literally, we went in last night. You see what we had? Had a fucking 60-pound share of steak on mac and cheese. Yeah, it's like the first off-plan in like 10 weeks. So it needed to be done.
We went for a 7-bone when we was with Jake and Sim. I had a fucking peanut butter and jelly, like chili jam, fucking jelly burger.
That's good, that is.
I've saved up, boys. You're hitting me. I've saved up 3 meals today so that I can have some food when this podcast is done. And I don't know whether to go bougie with the steak or whether to go dirty with a burger now. Fuck.
Just have like bland rice and just bland chicken with no seasoning. Just have it.
Are you making it yourself?
Nah, well, I can do. It depends. It depends how much effort I've got and what time it is.
Aldi 5% burgers, they're not 5% fat. I swear to God, they taste so good. You can have them, mate. You just like, because it's like such lean.
Mate, the only problem with Aldi meats, man, I've got like PTSD from this. I bought some mince from there before, and I opened it up, and the inside of it was grey, and I was like, whoa.
Yeah, I don't mean to sound like I'm above you lot, but I'll go to the butchers. So.
I do as well at the minute. I haven't done I think it depends on how skint I am. If I'm skint, I just go to Lidl. Do you know what I mean? Because I can get a full fucking food shop done every week with everything I need for like fucking 40, 50 quid.
Yeah.
Then sometimes, like at the minute, I'd rather than getting like some chicken from there, I thought, do you know what? I'll go and get some chicken from the butchers. But it always is nicer. I don't know.
Yeah.
Like, it is nicer meat, isn't it? Really?
I mean, my plan is I'm trying to pal them up. If I go in there every week for a long time, they've already given me a free bag. So I know I'm like getting amongst their good books, and maybe, they'll be like, oh, we'll sort you out some free couple of chicken breasts, mate. You know what I mean? Or a little bit of beef mince. The biggest piss take of any clean food is there's a greengrocers up the road. I paid £8 for 4 Spanish onions, like 3 giant peppers and like 3 apples.
Oh, mate, you see, London lifestyle, man. You just need a local fucking veg market, mate. Go down there and I can haggle the people to get shit cheaper. It's great. Nah, that's a shit looking cucumber, mate. I'll give you 50p for that. Drop it on the floor, but it's fuck now, mate.
Salad wise and veggie wise, I've been smashing these ones from fucking Lidl. They're like a Mexican mixed fucking veggie bag.
Okay.
Mexican beans in there. Fucking hell, mate, it slaps. It's so.
How do you cook it? Air fry it up?
Stir fry, surely.
Just literally in the fryer with a 1 cal spray, as I do with everything. I've got the little griddle pan for like my steaks and whatnot, because I get steaks and chicken breast in a minute, so just fucking season them up. I've seasoned things in my life. I never normally bother with it. I just cover it with ketchup, but
yeah,
it's been a lot fucking nicer, you know. And I think it's been helping with my appetite as well. Just to spice.
I found since going with Joe, like having so much like veg variety and stuff like that, I don't have sauce on anything anymore.
Really?
Oh. Yeah.
Pink salt, soy sauce, ketchup, and mustard. That's my way.
Yeah, it's the low sugar ketchup for me, or just a barbecue normally. I got that Sweet Baby Ray's, you know, the fucking Ronnie Coleman sauce.
Do you have to get that imported or what?
Nah, I got it from Tesco.
I'm pretty sure I've seen it in Sainsbury's before.
Yeah.
I don't have barbecue, so
it's got a button on the bottom. You press it and it shouts "Yeah, buddy" to you.
That's why it got so swollen. That's what it's the secret sauce.
It's just a big bottle of Tren up.
It's just Primo.
It's just the basics, you know, basic stuff.
Test Primo, basic stuff.
He's not telling you how much fucking test 2 gram, or we're talking 200 megs.
I would love to know the dosages that, you know, the transparency wasn't really there back in the day. Like just you see, like, what is it? Even there was a thread online, and it was supposedly the Dallas McCarver fucking death cycle, is what it was called.
Death cycle.
And some of the friends of his were reading it out on a podcast, and they were like, "It's absolute fucking horseshit. Like, who can put it out there thinking they know this stuff, you know?" And
like forums and all that shit on Google are the deadliest places sometimes. Like some of them, like these like random like steroid forums. Some of them are deadly. Like I think I did myself when I first got into obviously taking stuff, and I was looking to take it. I mean, I started taking it and then looked into it, so I've done it again. I just do everything the wrong fucking way.
Yeah.
I was looking on these like fucking forums and that, and it's just like the advice you get is fucking nuts.
Yeah, beginner's cycle, intermediate, advanced, and it was just like extra 20 meg debol.
I sent into the chat, right? The one of that John Doe bodybuilding.
No, I don't think so.
I sent like an ebook in there. It's this guy called John Doe. And he writes this whole thing about all these cycles you can take. And I was going to take this cycle because I didn't know anything about steroids when I first got in the game. So I was looking at it, and it was like this fucking mass pussy slayer stack or something like that. And it was like fucking
I did see it.
600 milligrams Tren, 1,000 milligrams test. It's like however many AIs. What else was it? Fucking EQ in there at like 500 milligrams. There was a load of fucking other orals on it. There was D-Bowl.
There was also Sus and Decker in there.
And this is just one stack to take. I was going to do that shit as well. Thank fuck for Joe Jeffries.
Yeah, thank you to Joe Jeffries.
No, maybe you would have had a bigger blow up on that.
Yeah, I'd have fucking, my heart would have blown up. Yeah, I would have been gone.
Yeah, but
I would have been the classic ghost, because I would have been a fucking ghost.
Yeah.
Oh man.
What was interesting, when I was on a course up in Derby, I come across an old IFBB pro from the UK BFF days, when that was really one of the main federations, you know, 1 pro card a year type stuff. And he's like late 30s, Welsh guy. He said he knew how to flex suicide. He's huge. He obviously the hugest gut these days. And he was showing me, he was working with Dave Palumbo years ago when he was coming up, and he was saying about his GH protocol. They had him on. They had him doing 2 units every 2 hours from waking.
Yep.
Every day.
I suppose that's not quite as bad as like the boom.
Most of them do like 8 units though, like Ian Valaire and stuff in off season.
Well, I mean, I do 6 in the off season.
If we're talking 20,
I think I go up to 4.
I went up to 6 as well and felt fucking dreadful.
It's their hands, man. Does anyone else's hands feel like they're vibrating? It's like you've had a power tool in your hands all day.
Yeah. I've got lumpy enough hands as it is. They're like fucking Richmonds, mate. You know what I mean? And
so mine are tiny, and it just looked like they were fatter than they were.
I tried to say it. I said to Leon the other day, like, my hands didn't really like get thick. They just got longer. Like I got like the salad fingers. Like
they was me, bro. I got the largest fucking hands. I've always had big hands, though, man.
Yeah.
To be fair.
what was it? The one that triggered me? It was my wisdom teeth. Joe kept saying to me there was no link between seeing like rapid growth of your teeth or anything like that. But I just said to him, I was like, my wisdom teeth haven't even piped up in probably like 2 years. You put me on 6 units of growth. 2 weeks later, both of them have gone bang.
Yeah.
Same as me. That's what I said, wasn't it? How weird was that?
Yeah.
I was exactly the same, man. I was blending all my meals because I couldn't eat.
Yeah.
Bro, see me, hardest worker in this bedroom, I tell you. I was not fucking.
My fucking beard.
Mate, I got a beard straight away.
Where'd it go?
Top of the year.
So when did you know?
Once DH was put in, that's when I officially could grow a beard. And I was like, yeah, I'm now a man. He was very cute. He was very cute.
The beard for me. As soon as I jumped on test, like my beard before taking test was like a lollipop dropped on a carpet. There was fucking gaps there, little hairs all over the gaff.
Yeah.
See, once a test rolled in, yeah, man's full on like Kratos now. Do you know what I mean?
It's nice and full now.
Yeah, literally like the latest bloomer ever, man. The only reason I can grow a beard is because of antibiotics.
Yeah, true. Same.
Everyone asked me, what do you do for your beard? Do you have like oils, procedures, and all this? And I test GH and a calorie surplus, mate, and mine grows like a train.
Trust me.
I'm chasing that Ryan Kirkham, but I can't fit this. This is just, it's appalling. He has such thickness.
Did yours not grow there? I always thought that you shaved it.
Nah, I've got this tiny little strand of hair that comes off my lip, but nothing here.
See, I always thought like close up when you got like your stories now. I thought that you specifically like shaved that bit off.
Nah, this ain't no designer face, man. This is just a bald patch.
It's because he dribbles.
I was on that pedicure shit. I see the eyebrows always done, no nose hair, skin packs, like face masks and that. You're on it,
mate. That's the life, man. Put me in a bath, get the missus to shave me head. Beautiful.
You're the only guy without a receding hairline who shaved his head that I know.
Mate, this is like 2 days worth and it's back.
I'm out here looking like Mike Katz. Look at this state. Mike Katz. Jesus.
Mine's the same. My barber will spray the water into it to do it, and he'll brush it back and be like, "Don't fucking do that."
Oh, don't do it.
I'll be like, "What do you want?" I'll be like, "Give me the Mike Katz, bro. Trust me. Bang side chest done."
Have you seen my shirt? Have you seen my shirt?
Yeah, I've got another question in front of me. So I'm pretty sure you probably covered it already. I will ask just in case his feelings get out though. Top 3 posers of all time. So not necessarily your influences, but just 3 posers that you just love for any era. Now, modern, old, gold.
Hamid McAvoy, Ed Corley, and Bob Harris for me.
Okay.
What about you, Ryan? What do you say?
I'll try and do an old one. So,
the classic ghost.
Yeah, probably Bob Paris. Say Terence Ruffin, because how can you not like Terence Ruffins? Who else is great? Mate, John Lofthouse. I can't wait to see him do more shows because, did you see his routine at the Poland show? Was it?
Yeah, it's just like I don't feel like it's appreciated enough out there.
The skill is unreal.
Yeah, nuts.
How
long is the routine for them guys? They get like 3 minutes, don't they?
Yeah, I think so.
Yeah, that's sick. We need 3 minutes, man. That's what I was saying to you the other day. Try and free pose and you check your phone. It's like 3 or 5 minutes. It's like we only get 60 seconds, so we have to fucking literally body pop for 60 seconds for as many poses as you can.
I'd be fucked after 3 minutes.
Yeah. It's also that's like posing conditioning as well. I always say to people, you can sort of, I know it sounds like weird or cliche, you can sort of progressively overload your poses with how you can hold them for time frame. Start at start at 10-second holds and then progressively get better throughout prep, 10 to 15 to 20, 30, and then however, even if you could do 60 seconds, but that's probably like Terence Ruffin kind of thing. Yeah.
Well, John's brought out that periodized posing protocol, ain't he? I think that is conditioning all the way through prep into a show with it.
It's a great idea, to be fair.
Yeah,
This is what I was saying to you about what I'm trying to do at the moment is because of the old one lung, I'm trying to get my cardiovascular for holding poses back in play. And I'm doing that, starting off at 10 seconds, working more up to 15, 20, 30, so on.
Yeah. I mean, when I went to Derby, I was going to pose with this guy, Dan, when do you get an opportunity to pose with an IFBB pro? So I said, can you help me out? I'm moving categories. I don't really know what I'm doing. Do you help me? And he was like, right, today we're just doing quarter turns. I was like, what? And he was like, tomorrow we'll do quarter turns again, and then the day after we'll do quarter turn. I was like, what about other shots? He was like, we don't care about other shots yet. We're doing these first. I was like, okay, just rounds of 10 seconds hold. And he's like shouting at me eventually. He's like, you fucking hold it, hold it, hold it. He was like, keep your fucking head up, hold it. And I'm like, good fucking Lord, mate. Like, I'm really trying. I didn't realize how hard it'd be. He was like, mate, judges will push you harder than this.
This is why people need to do it in the off season but trust me, by the time anyone thinks about it and they're 6 weeks out, you're too fucked to master that. Way too fucked.
I think we'd all be kidding you if we said like we can pose like this all through the off season, because then no one can. I think like even just taking check-in photos when you're at peak weight, you're
trying to get side tricep
the poses on hand on the legs, and you're like,
it's always in the morning as well. I'm sound in the evening, mate. If I try like my check-ins with Joe, I'm following. I had a guy in from America earlier. Fucking hell, man, I was dripping, absolutely dripping.
See, my check-in spot is in the hallway by the front door, and I have to close all the doors around it to put the ring light up so the light's not affected. And it's a little bit enclosed, and it gets very warm very quickly. And in the mornings, I have to open the door, and I go, oh, I just go open the window, and I just sit there butt naked in my chair, like with the window on me. It's like, yeah, we're right here for a minute.
I nearly died taking mine this morning. It was cold and windy.
Yeah, I did see that.
That's commitment
I
for the
literally
natural.
got out there. I thought, right. I went out to put some stuff in the fucking recycling bin, and I had boxes on. I was going to go and put my fucking thong on and pose. I was like, I'm not putting the thong on. So I come back in, get the phone, set it up, and as I'm walking over, I was like, I've got to pull my dressing gown off now. I was like, oh, fucking hell. Brought over just fucking chapping, man. Could not even pose. It's freezing.
I got like Lord of the Rings vibes from that check-in. It looked like you were in the Shire or something.
I live on my nan's land. She's got a decent sized bit of land, and obviously her house is right at the other end. She built this pretty much like bungalow for us at the end. So we literally just stay here. The garden is phenomenal. Like, she's been gardening for 50 plus years.
Yeah.
Her mum, like before that, was gardening for her whole life. Like, she knows every single flower. Like, it's nuts how the garden looks in the summer. It's a madness. Like,
you tell you how many petals the Redeemie has got. She's like on it.
Yeah, man. She's always in there fucking doing it all. Like, she's like nearly 70. And she goes through, like, her flower beds are 10 foot wide, and they go all the way around the garden. And she gets on her hands and knees and does it all right.
I'm starting to see a link here, like the horticulturalist, the Leon. What's in that garden?
You get your own grow on there as well.
What's going on in this garden?
Growing bud.
That's not a bad idea. That's not a bad idea. I have got a shed behind me, so I might light one up. 100%.
You'll have a good crop on.
Yeah, I'll get some classic OG. Grow it up. Let's do it. Fuck it.
Yeah, the classic Ghost, branded, stamped.
And trademark that, mate.
Trust me.
That is a good one. You'll like this one if you're a Carbcast listener. So Seth Feroci? Seth,
No.
If Clem attack Hart, does Primo attack Wallet?
Not for us.
Not for us.
No. Primo doesn't attack my wallet.
No.
Clem does the attack Heart, yeah.
Yeah, these two are blessed.
You need a crown link up, just holler at your boy. You know.
Get in these DMs.
Send me DMs if you want some crown.
Shoot me a message for Adelphi. Yeah.
Well, I'm just a normal straight-laced coach.
Oh, fuck off.
Leon asked me, am I natty on the fucking questions? That's the biggest insult ever. I'm natty on a Wednesday. I don't pin on a Wednesday. So, yeah.
I'm not supposed to, but I just bang in a mill of anything that's closest, just in case.
That old school protocol, that.
Let's go like that and just grab a vial.
No, you don't. You just get Isla stand there like a dart, but load it up and throw.
Yeah, man. Trust me.
I'm sure we've all had funny pinning experiences, and I have with my girlfriend. And she doesn't like needles, and I got stuck once, and I needed help. And yeah, that ended in tears. That one, let's say the least.
Who? You are?
She was just like. I had it stuck in my delt, and I couldn't fucking plunge it, and yeah, it was a bit of a fun one. I'll be honest.
You ever want to snap off?
No, I'm not that fucking
Yeah,
Hulk
yeah.
hammer hands over there.
Fucking it. I was like, oh, I was at Hollis, literally like a whole fucking.
Get the
entire
tweezers. Get the fucking
human
tweezers.
Primo just
I
explode.
thought I had one snap off, but I remember obviously last peak blast, and I'd have like a full 3 mil syringe full, and I remember going to pin it, and it shot off of the pin.
Oh
and
yeah, that's what I mean.
Everywhere. I was just looking at it thinking, if I had to pay for this, I'd be skint. Do you know
Primo
what I mean?
just all over the kitchen floor. I was like,
Yeah. So I just licked it all up instead. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Things were not lost.
Roll up a note.
Scoop it onto a baking tray, bake it, and then crush it up and sniff it. Done.
Yeah.
Wallop.
Get the spoon out.
why is everybody such a crackhead?
Bro, we're just gym crackheads, all of us. Like, trust me.
We take our Telmasartan though, so it's cool.
Yeah. As long as you've got telmisartan. Yeah. Liver stack. Our liver should be all right. And normally what you want to do is take a bit of anadrol pre-workout as well. That's good for the liver.
Or just go Anavar only, of course. That's always.
I don't even get.
We had I just had a client experience recently. Wants to use anabolics. We said I want to get your adherence first and everything like that. Okay, checking data a few weeks later, it's just off. You know, it's not coming back as it should. He's going to a deficit. Why is things not moving? Oh, I've been taking Anavar for the last 2 weeks.
Jesus.
I was like, okay, so you pretty much just shit in your hands, rubbed it together, and then put it on my face. You know what I mean? That's how I took that. And just a turd, absolute turd.
We love a good.
Can't help everyone.
VAR only cycle, man. Cool.
You know?
1 second, boys.
I don't like
Introductory.
pinning. I don't like pinning, do I? I don't want to pin.
This is a thing people got to realize, man. Like there's a safer way to do these things, and sadly, if you're going to make that jump, it does involve using testosterone.
George knows I didn't like it more than anyone to begin with, and baby step your way in is what Joe said. He said because you're going to have to at some point. We'll just take the steps forward, and 50 milligram a week, and before you know, you where you are. You know what I mean?
Yeah, gram of Primo.
Yeah, fucking hell. Don't we know?
Oh man, what's your plan to competing this year, Ryan?
You are.
What's your plans to competing? Is it this year, next year?
I don't know. We were going to do 2 mesos and then see where we're at after the growth phase. I've put £10 on in like fucking 10 days.
Mate, you've done extremely like. Even when we last saw you at Bedford, I was like, this guy's pretty meaty, and it's been another good 6 months since then. So
finished my deficit last week and just like exploded. I checked in with Joe and I was like, I know like you know what you're doing. I know I haven't talked about it, but I was like, I can't lie, I'm like panicking that I've put £7 on in a week. He's like, nah, don't worry about it. But we're gonna have like 2 growth blocks and see where we were, whether we're prep. But then Joe put up the post to me and he put we're gonna run 2 growth blocks, and then the meso was like 5 to 6 weeks, and then maintenance, and then another 2 growth blocks. So I guess it's not happening this year, but I would have liked to have competed this year, but you know, I fucking hate getting beat more than I like competing. So
yeah,
completely, man.
£7 isn't anything out of the ordinary. I mean, considering you would have probably just put the slid and that back in, wouldn't you?
No, there was no insulin.
None yet.
No insulin in, and I put GH in it a day before. That's it.
Was this on the rebound like a week?
Yeah,
or
he just put my calories just at like a slight surplus, like a 5% surplus or something.
Obviously, you got like glycogen, inflammation, and things like that.
Well, it was when I checked in and I was like battered from work and stuff, and it was like deload now, like a week early, and then he put my calories up from then, and then I checked in after like I think I trained like 2 sessions of the new meso, and yeah, I'd put like £7 on in a week. Which for me, like he was like, I was expecting more than that, but for me, that's a hell of a lot. Like I wouldn't put that on even after a show, like having a massive meal after a show or anything.
Yeah,
you're about to explode in this next meso, man.
A lot more muscle there to fill up now.
Here for it.
Trust me.
It's the fucking delts, man. Jesus Christ.
Save some for the rest of us, bro.
Trust me.
Please.
You're the reason why my Primo is late because you're taking it all.
No, it's not actually, because I got a note in mine saying, sorry, Primo will be here when the labels arrive. So it's definitely not me, mate.
Oh dear, man. Well, boys, I think we'll call it there and say thank you very much for coming on. Thank you much for your time. Hopefully, in between the shit talk, the listeners will be able to take some good posing cues and some tips there from two of the best posers in the UK currently to the best UK posing coaches. And is there anything you guys would like to promote before we wrap up? Anything you got coming up? Any new projects, business stuff?
I think me and Leon both have like prep packages. So if you're going through prep at the minute and you want a posing coach, we offer now monthly posing coaching as well, like individually with both of us. So whichever one of us you want, give us a message. Works similar to how you will with your coach, where you'll check in weekly with your check-ins, sending over your practicing for critique and stuff like that. And then you get a tiered package with however many sessions throughout the month and pay it as a monthly fee. Other than that, you can find us on Physique Collective. Hit up on the Physique Collective app and on the ask. There's a posing section where you can ask us anything, send in your shots for critique, and then physique coaching. I think. Do you just do by Instagram as well, Leon? Just like shoot us a DM, have a chat about your goals and stuff like that. I think everything is on our Instagram.
Yeah. Mine's all run fully from Instagram. You pretty much covered it exactly there, Rye. Like, I think with me and Rye, if you're looking to get posed by either of us, you'll probably be looking at just apples and oranges, like whichever style suits you best, because sometimes like people are coming to us, but sometimes they might not have the style. So just about picking whichever one you want, really.
It's just whoever you get along with best, isn't it? Like if you choose a coach because you want to relate to them. So
yeah, man. I've got a couple of seminars. Obviously, I've got one coming up this Saturday. If you did want to jump on that, if you got a classic physique show, you can jump in on that probably. And then
so what's the
seminars after that as well, which the dates will be released, but I can let you know them soon. And yeah, some more seminars, cheap as well, £20 to come in and get posed for a few hours. Like,
yeah, let them know where it is. Obviously,
yeah, Crayford Weights and Fitness. I don't actually know the location. Where? Yeah, it's in Dartford, isn't it?
It's in Crayford. It's just off
near the Dartford Tunnel.
I've never been, so it's the first time for me. Actually, looking forward to it.
It's a great gym.
You'll like the gym. Yeah, it's quite good, man.
It's owned by Paul Knight, who's IFBB Pro Judge and an absolute awesome bloke. He'll give time to anyone. He spends his time in the gym just walking around and talking to people there. That's why he's such a cool bloke.
We met him at NFM UK. First time I met him, he's sound he is, and his Lambo is sick.
Yeah.
His Lambo is sick.
I look forward to meeting him. I've heard some good things, so it'll be pretty sweet.
He's just cool. He loves bodybuilding. Hates bullshit in bodybuilding. Loves bodybuilding for what it is.
Before I forget, one important question I got for Ryan. What starter did you choose?
Oh, on the new one, I chose Cyndaquil. You know what though, man? They've made a new Typhlosion ghost type.
Yeah,
get smoked by everything.
Trust me, it's a dead
Errors
move.
are made.
How much a mistake. Sorry,
I'm
guys.
gonna go and play that now.
Yeah, trust me, I'm literally feeding it now.
Is that a private joke or something? Because I'm lost.
Yeah, I've got a Switch going on. I think me and Alex
bought a Switch the other day and bought the new Pokemon game. And
I see Ryan bought a Switch.
God.
I messaged him straight away. I was like, tell me that's for the new Pokemon game. He was like, yeah. I was like, yes.
That's exactly why I bought it.
I just play Destiny and a bit of Forza on the Xbox. That's me. Or a bit of PUBG. For anyone who plays, jump in DMs and jump in. Anyone again.
Well, thank you very much again, boys. I'm sure we'll get a session in soon. We'll have a little link up.
Yeah.
Some session done.
Yeah, I keep getting jealous.
Because you're all down south, ain't you? So even if we meet up at like Physique or something.
Yeah, I mean that's still a bit of a trek for me, but I don't mind doing the run. You know, I've got Durzel.
Yeah, it's about 2.5 hours from me.
Mate, I want to get up to that train with intent. See this.
If you want to come up this way, lads, it's like anyone's welcome to train there. It's a private gym as well. It's got some
looks sick. The kit looks insane.
It is a sick gym. I couldn't recommend that gym enough. That's mad. It's even just like the atmosphere as well. And I think like the guys, they're all in sort of like this sort of like family group as well, aren't you, in that gym? I think that's quite the coolest thing about it.
Yeah, it's like a little like family, but everyone's really, really into the training and interested in bodybuilding. Even though not everyone's like at a high level or like even competed before, but everyone takes the training so seriously. It's a good bunch to be with. To be fair.
Nice.
Right then, guys. Until the next time, thank you very much for listening.
Thanks for having me.
Yeah, we'll be back again next week with some more shit talk. Hopefully, some more guests. And yeah, peace.
See you later.